Hey there. We're going to cover real quickly a really important subject, and that's the fact that irregular income comes into businesses somewhat on a regular basis, if that makes sense. It states right in this particular explanation of the irregular budget that if you're self-employed or if you're in sales, but it should also say there's a big category of people that are in agriculture that are used to only selling their crops at a certain time of year and only used to selling their livestock at a certain time of year. So irregular income is just something that we deal with on an ongoing basis. This is something that you'll get better at as you practice it and that sort of thing. But it's not actually out of the norm as far as businesses go. I've got a brother that has a shoe store in Reno, Nevada, and he tells me that 75% of his gross revenue comes in through the month of December, during Christmas time. People are buying shoes. I think they must be buying them for themselves, not the other people, but they say that when you go shopping, you usually spend a little on yourself. Maybe that's it. Anyway, the way they've got it set up kind of makes sense to me. Hopefully it does to you, especially after we go through it and explain it to you. And you can use the format if you have some of these things coming in that maybe your regular budget doesn't take care of. So step one, as it explains, is filling out this monthly budget. You can print that out or make it into a spreadsheet like we've done before. And come up with that. Have the budget committee meetings if you have a spouse or other people that are involved in the budgeting process for these personal revenues and expenses. Step two is to identify those things that the regular budget doesn't take care of, that are outside of that thing. And maybe a lot of times when we're just getting started in this budgeting process, we either forget, we ignore some of the things that might come in, and all of a sudden they hit us like a hammer when the bill arrives. But in this case, they've used the example of a hospital bill. Maybe there's a bill from Home Depot. Maybe we're doing a little remodeling around the house or something like that, and all of a sudden comes in, and then we would like to go out for dinner at times or to a movie or something like that we haven't been able to fit within the regular budget. But we would if we had a little extra income coming in, irregular income that just shows up, and we're not sure exactly when it is going to show up. We might even have a good idea that it'll show up within this 2-month period, but we're not sure the specific date when we budget. So anyway, we go down to step 3, and we've got these 3 things that we'd like to put in the regular budget, but they just don't make it. We prioritize those things. We already have them prioritized. The hospital bill is $460. The Home Depot remodeling bill is $1,000, and then we'd like to take our spouse out for dinner for $50. We'd like to fit that in our budget, but only if we get some extra income or irregular income into our budget. So what we would do if we do sell a cow and we get $1,500 and we or something like that, something that's out of the norm, in addition to what we would normally make, then we would do this in step 5. We would go ahead and pay the hospital bill $460, if you notice. So we're going to have a running total of expenses here until we use up that $1,500. So the next priority is the Home Depot bill, and you can see if we started out with $1,500, we subtract $460 from it for a hospital bill, we still can pay the Home Depot bill of $1,000. Now, if we're doing our math right, we know we budgeted $50, but we only have $40 left. So we're going to maybe not be able to be as extravagant with our entertainment on that last budgeted item as we would have liked to be, but we still have a little bit of surplus there that we can use. But if we have a longer list of these budgeted items that make it into this priority list, then we're just going to go down through these things until we use up that extra income that came in, maybe not as regular as our other income would have come in. So, and we would use this income format that they have right here. I would encourage you, if you have those kinds of things, I mean, if you're rodeoing and you win a rodeo, that's kind of irregular income. So I know there's many of you in this class that are involved in that. So that would be an irregular income that would be involved in this thing that we might not count on, but we would take care of when we actually receive it in this fashion. So hopefully that helps as explaining the irregular income planning forms that are included with your Dave Ramsey training. The things I really want you to think about, and we'll get a chance to apply, is into the business planning or budgeting format. Is that's how we're going to plan for these and plan out a cash flow possibly next week, is that we're going to use this kind of a concept in all that. So, I mean, all this stuff that we're applying to our personal lives, we're going to apply it to a business format. It's going to be a little more complex. We're going to have a lot more categories and that sort of thing, but it's still just numbers. We're just adding and subtracting. So I don't want you to get stressed out over all that. Some of you are going to revel in that, and some of you aren't, and I understand that we're all built a little bit different in that regard, but if we can get a handle on this personal budget, we can apply some of the same principles to the business budget. It's going to take you down the road to your projections and planning and all that kind of stuff a lot further. So I wish you luck with your budgeting so that you can be a more successful business budgeter.